You're not killing them with kindness, you're killing yourself. And it's time to become the villain. I've been someone definitely for a long time who has like always been afraid of letting people down, afraid of disappointing people, afraid of like being misunderstood, afraid of having people think something about me that, like I didn't want them to think, or maybe I felt like wasn't true or wasn't right. And eventually I got to a point where I kind of just had enough of being walked on and enough of carrying the weight of like so many things that are honestly just quite frankly out of my control. And I had to give myself permission to disappoint people. And I had to give myself permission to be the villain. I want to give you permission to disappoint people who have been disappointing you, permission to actually become the villain in someone else's story, because you really can't control what they think about you. You can't control what they say about you behind your back as much as you might want to try. So give yourself permission to disappoint people that probably have disappointed you. Give yourself permission to stop explaining yourself and over explaining yourself, trying to get people to see you a certain way or think of you a certain way, or just stop over explaining. Permission to not respond, permission to not always be available whenever someone, thinks they want something or need something from you. And permission to change your mind. Permission to change your mind. Maybe you have always been a certain way. People are used to you being a certain way. Change your mind. It's okay. Maybe you committed to certain things that are no longer in alignment for you or no longer serve you. It's okay to change your mind. Not that you asked me, right? But I want to give you permission to protect your peace, like your life depends on it. Because the fact is, like, your life does depend on it. Your joy depends on it. Your happiness depends on it. Your future relationships depend on it. Depend on you choosing you. Depend on you choosing your peace and protecting your peace with everything that you've got. It sounds kind of crazy, but I had to give myself permission to be quote unquote mean to people, because that's how it can feel at first when we're changing our mind, when we're choosing ourselves, when we're becoming less available, when we're setting boundaries with people. We're afraid to be mean, and so we're trying to be nice, and but that nice isn't nice to ourselves always necessarily, right? And this is just what I needed to hear. What I needed to hear is I kept putting everyone else's happiness and emotions and peace above my own, and I would stay in situations for too long to try and satisfy the other person. Meanwhile, I'm actually struggling. So again, not that you asked me, but I want to extend permission to you to start being mean, become the villain in someone else's story. And the thing about this villain era or becoming mean in someone else's story, it doesn't mean that you're actually a mean person. It doesn't mean that you're actually a bad person. It really just means that you're not putting yourself on the back burner anymore. You're not letting yourself come last anymore. It means that you're choosing to fill your cup, and that no, your needs and wants don't come last anymore. We can't control if people think that we're mean when we finally start choosing ourselves. We can't control if they don't like us after we start setting some boundaries with them. But the thing that we can control is whether or not we're going to keep abandoning ourselves to make them happy or to make them comfortable. Becoming the villain in someone else's story means just taking your power back instead of letting them hold all of the power over you. And something interesting starts to happen when we take our power back and when we become the villain. The people that are users, they disappear. The people that are manipulators, they disappear. The people that are takers disappear. And people really start to understand something about you, and it's that your no means no, and your energy isn't anything to play with. Like your presence isn't anything to play with. These people who used you will simply just disappear. People who manipulated you will find that it's too difficult to manipulate you, and they'll simply just move on to someone else that's easier. But the real ones are going to respect you more. The real ones are going to understand that when you say yes to something, that's really valuable, because you don't just say yes to everything, and you're not just available to everybody. So when you say yes to something, that means something to them. The real ones will honestly honor and respect your boundaries and love the fact that you have boundaries and be excited about your boundaries, because guess what? They usually have boundaries of their own. And so real recognizes real. Something that I kind of had to come to terms with and make peace with is it felt like I was losing people when I decided to be a bit more mean and a bit more selfish. It felt like I'd be missing out on something. But, and to be honest, that's kind of true. I was missing out on baggage. I was missing out on burdens that weren't mine to carry. This is a good thing. It's a good thing when these burdens disguised as people finally leave. On the one hand, maybe they start taking some accountability and some responsibility for the ways that they showed up in your life. But on the other hand, they just go to other people who can match that energy, and, they can be burdensome together. At some point, we have to realize we gotta stop over explaining. We have to stop apologizing for having needs, even like some of the most basic needs. We have to stop apologizing for it. We have to stop asking the wrong people to meet those basic needs that we have. We have to stop dimming our lights so that other people can be brighter than us. There's room for you to shine. There's room for all of us to shine. We gotta stop being afraid of conflict, and we have to stop choosing other people over ourselves, choosing their peace over our peace, choosing their comfort over what we really need. We have to remember that being liked and being respected are not the same thing. They're not the same thing at all. And when we start showing more respect to ourselves, we start being liked by the people who will treat us better. Now, when I say you're killing yourself with kindness, I've seen this where, when you're everything to everybody, it starts to really take a toll on you. I've seen people have unexplained migraines, body aches, right? Like even me, I used to have so much back pain that simply was unexplainable. I remember I would get MRIs done and they'd be like, did you fall? Did you have like a major accident or something? Like, what happened to your back? And quite literally what happened to my back was carrying things that I didn't need to carry. Like, quite simply put, I was carrying too much. I was doing too much, right? And, if you're people pleasing all of the time, like, you're the one who suffers. You're the one who ends up with the extra stress, the extra exhaustion, the cortisol wreaking havoc on your body, the extra weight that, you carry spiritually, emotionally, physically, right? And I don't know if you've ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, but your body keeps score every time you abandon yourself for everybody else. Like, there's a real physical toll for being too nice and being too kind, especially in places that can't appreciate it, in spaces that don't respect it, and places that take it for granted, and with people who can't give you everything that you're giving them. So when you finally, truly give yourself permission to step into that villain era, believe it or not, you will sleep at night better. You will start to feel lighter. You're going to start having more motivation for your own goals, the things that you never had time for or energy for before. You'll start to have the time and energy for it, especially because a lot of these goals that we have, particularly the ones around self-care, they require energy. It's crazy because like they would give us so much more energy if we did it, but sometimes we don't even have the energy to get into them. But this is how you start to have that energy. People are going to start thinking twice before they just dump everything on you. That's a good thing. They might actually ask if you have the space instead of just dumping on you. And the right people are going to start showing up in your life. I I know, trust me, it might seem difficult to believe right now. There might be some grief around some of the relationships that have been out of balance for too long, but the right people will start showing up in your life slowly but surely. They most definitely will. So that's all I've got for this one. My name is Sid Scott. Thank you for watching another video on the Slowing Down with Sid Scott channel. I drop 3 videos a week, and consider subscribing if you found this useful. All right, talk to you later.